Hello everybody, it is I, the voice of Lord Frieza. I'm going to be doing my review on Final Fantasy 15. Now I'm going to give you guys a heads up right now. This will be spoiler-filled. I'm not doing a spoiler-free review. I just spent 40 hours playing the game, and I will be out of character for this one. It's going to be me and you, and we're going to be talking for a little while. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into that. On to the review, shall we? So basically, my first initial impression of the game, it's a very vast world, very open world. You can compare it in some aspects probably to Skyrim, for just the mass level, the grand scale of it all, of things in general. You literally have free roam to go wherever you want. The map is huge. You start off on the first continent, which I believe is Lucius, and then you can go over to Altissia, which is a whole entire another continent. You go way later in the game, and that's just as big, if not even larger. And we haven't even touched base on DLC yet, guys. So my first initial reaction to the game was it's very pretty. Whether you're on Xbox One or PS4, it is very, very pretty game. It's a very pretty game. You're going to love how it looks. The voice acting is incredible. There was one or two spots throughout the story where I felt they could have performed a little bit more emotional to the scene, whether it was an anger scene, particularly just one or two of the angers. There was the first initial disagreement between Noctis, who is the main character, and Gladiolus, who is one of his guardians that takes him on his journey. It happens during the Titan, when you're going to get Titan, and I felt it was a little underacted, but really, I think the acting could have been fine. It was really, personally, just that the animation was really over-animated, or it was underacted. Either one could have fixed it. If they would have just dumbed down the animation a bit, it would have worked. If they would have put a little bit more into the acting, it could have worked. Now, that could just fall under direction as well, guys. But the acting overall was very good. Now, as for the gameplay, the fighting mechanics in this game are very, very fun. Noct has the capability to warp strike, which he can be on the other side of the map and warp over. It's kind of like a teleport, almost like an instant transmission that Goku does in Dragon Ball Z. And it's a very, 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 very fun way to do battle. Aside from that, though, you do have access to elemency, as they call it, or magica, or spells. And that is for things like fire, blizzard, thunder, etc., all the way up to tier 2 and probably tier 3 spells. I never got that far. But you can't just learn magic in this game. You actually have to craft it. It's a lot like Final Fantasy VII, where you can make different materials, but in this aspect, you can actually make magic. Now, aside from that, you do get summons. Now, the summons are not, it's not a free-for-all like, past Final Fantasies will say, for instance, like 7, or 8, 9, or 10. You can't just summon. You have to have, what I've discovered playing, I think, a lower amount of health, and it's random. You can't just do it, which I honestly really appreciate how Square took the game and made it so that you can't just spam magic and you can't just spam summons. So to me, that's a really, really cool touch to the game itself. And aside from those aspects of the gameplay, another really fun feature in the game is the side quests. There are so many side quests, and they're all really, really cool. Each character gets a lot of character development throughout these side quests as well. And as for character development, for Noct, you are going to get a glorious amount of character development for him. Gladiolus is one of his guardians, the big buff guy, and you get a little bit for him too. Prompto is the blonde-haired guy that everybody's kind of comparing to Cloud Strife. He does kind of look like Cloud a little bit, not a lot, but it's there in some aspects. He's another really cool character. He's gonna be the comedic relief of the game. So if you're thinking about picking this game up, totally, the comedic relief from him is hilarious. He's the only person I ever want to listen to make a pun. Fuck you, Sunar. I know you're listening. He's a friend of mine. And then we have Ignis, who is he's kind of the tactician of the group. He's the one who plans out strikes and stuff. Gladiolus will advise Noct a lot during battle and stuff, but Ignis is the one who kind of plans their attacks and how they're going to move in and, deal the damage on the enemies and whatnot. Now, each character also has various techniques. So, Ignis has a lot of damage dealing techniques that create openings for Noct to go in and deal devastating blows. But you can also, for instance, every character has different techniques. You can also, for instance, switch over from his piercing technique to his regroup technique, which is basically him healing. I can't remember if his first technique is called piercing. That might be Prompto's. Just follow me here. He can go from damage dealing to healing like that. That was a better snap. It's really cool. And to wrap up a few more other things, aside from that, those are the different character types. There is a really good love story in this. Luna Freya, who is the Oracle of the game, and her job as the Oracle that she's born into is to inspire Noctis, again, the main character, to become king. And overall, the love story's good. It's a story of war between two kingdoms when it first starts out, but that quickly becomes more of a journey to get Noctis to be able to restore light to the world that has since gone dark because of a villain named Arden, who you are going to probably love as a villain. He's a really cool villain, he's super badass, and he has the power of a king. So you're gonna see some really cool shit go down versus-wise between him and Noct. So, really guys, I didn't script this review. I literally just beat the game and just jumped in here. To summarize the best that I can, pretty much in this order, the game starts off as a war story that is fucking beautiful. You get a good bit of character development for the team going to basically meet up with Lunafreya to bring two kingdoms together due to a wedding, where he was meeting her, well, he wasn't meeting her, they had met before in the past. He was going to marry her and unite two different kingdoms that were possibly going to go to war. That doesn't work out. She dies to inspire him to become king. He goes and kills the baddie, the bad guy, and then you watch some really cool ending scenes. There's an after credit scene, then there's more credits, and then there's another after credit scene that will blow your mind and mindfuck you. But this has been my general overall review of Final Fantasy 15. I give it a solid 8.5 to 9 out of 10 on the 1 to 10 FF awesome scale. The performances from Darren DePaul, Robbie Damon, Ray Chase, and I can't remember the guy who voiced Gladio, but he did awesome too. They were all incredible. I just can't stress enough how amazing that game was. And if you were thinking about going out and buying it for yourself, do it. I would do it immediately. I wouldn't wait a single second longer. I would get out there and do it. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble this unscripted review, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my sensual voice. I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye.